Bitcoin setup in here. I will explain you the trade, and we will might enter because it's everything forming well in here. So let's see how it's gonna go, right? Let me just check. Hello, hi everyone. So it seems like it's running maybe with small delay. Okay, hello, 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 hello. Okay, hello guys. Good to see you. Right, so let's break down this Bitcoin setup. What I'm seeing in here. Let's drop it down and let's delete this setup for the second right now. Hopefully it will not go without us. Okay, so Bitcoin has dropped all the way down. Let me take it to the weekly. Bitcoin has dropped all the way down here into a 50%, right? Below a 50% and into a liquidity in here. So here is where we coming from this key level down here. And then we got on a daily, we had this down candle. And then on a, was it Monday? Yeah, on the Monday, we have closed above. Let me bring my Epic pen. So here we have closed above. So it's confirming a order block. Right? You can see this down candle, which was dipping into a liquidity and is reacting on a key level, is basically our order block right now. So at this moment in here, the order block is confirmed, and then price is retracing into a order block. Where into order block? Because we can measure again from here to here. Here is a 50% rise. So that's a midpoint of this order block, and that's a key level. Also, we got this gap. You see this gap has been inverted, and it's basically a level also. So you can see I have these drawings in here, which is from this high to this low. And right now we're reacting exactly on a midpoint of it. Right? And day before, which was yesterday, we had this dump candle, just dumped down, right? And then we dropped below here. So what's happening in here? This morning, this candle has been looking like this, right? Very bearish, right? So people thinking we going lower, it's end of the world or whatever, right? Yes, but no. We have our system which can tell us that we will might go at least into here. Why? Because this big drop has created imbalance, right? This is imbalance. So it kind of has to be rebalanced. So there is a high chance that even if it will go much lower, which we don't have to care right now, if specific things happen and the order block at the specific time frame will occur, and because this is a daily range, so this is a daily CLS, right? Watching from Kenya, guys, nice. From US, nice, right? So this is daily. Now we need to drop to the 1 hour. That's the time frame for this trade, right? So now, again, we're watching what's happening in here. And this range is basically that daily, right? So let me change this one so it's not annoying us too much. Let me change the, I always like to have a clean charts, right? Sometimes the trading view is, I like this. So we know we are trading in that order block. Now I'll bring the indicator, which will show us the higher time frames. Right, I remove the 4 hours. We don't need 4 hours here. Right, and you can see basically this range is that candle, right? So this candle. So now we want to see a basically close back inside the range above all of these consecutive candles, right? So what's happening in here? Why I have bring this higher time frame? So we had this big candle and then this another big candle down, right? Many traders, trust me, they have sold. They've been selling in here the breakout, right? They selling the breakout. We don't know if it will work, right? Maybe it will go lower, yes, but we're not entering now. When we gonna enter? On this 1 hour, we are watching these down close consecutive candles, these ones, in here. Right? Once we close above here in this range, then we enter in here, we put stop loss in here, and our stop loss should be safe. Why? Because those who are entering right now, once the price closes above here, they will be basically in a trap, right? And we have a chance that basically the market will not give them the chance to exit. Another thing which we are always looking for is basically market profiles. So we always want to see a accumulation, manipulation, and then once we close above a manipulation phase, which will be in here, right? Then start a distribution. Usually the distribution is 2 times bigger than manipulation, right? So if let's say if on a Bitcoin, for example, this is a 2000s range, the expansion will be at least 4000. Right? So we can measure in here, and it looks good here. If we measure this manipulation, let me take this. I need to measure like that. So if we're gonna get this close above, so it will be signal for us the close here. Now we don't need this higher time frame candles. So if we get a close in here, let me highlight it like that. Then we can be targeting this, right? Potentially this. And even in my opinion, we have a chance for this, right? Why? Because we are basically trading on this bigger time frame order block, which has been confirmed in here. Right? So that's how I wanted to explain the setup I'm looking for today. We will see, right? It will probably take some time until it somehow develops or not. And yeah, so that's what I'm looking for at the moment. I don't have any short-term setup today, but what we're gonna look for is also the Ethereum, right? Because it's a very it's highly correlated asset, right? So we will see what Ethereum is doing. So give me a second. I'm just gonna drink. Let me check the questions. Hello, David. When is gonna be next giveaway? Oh, well, we need to some organize. Maybe, maybe let's do some until the end of this month. Hi, Simon. Elias Tomasz, order block. Yeah, order block. What you mean, Tomas? Order block? Like, what is it? Order block? Watching from Kenya. We are so down. Aloha, Edward. I'm watching from Bangladesh, my friend. BTC short. Yeah, possible. Right? And this is the power which you has the complex system, right? There is a many people who trading the level. Right? So for example, you can say, here is the level, and if the Bitcoin come here, I will buy. And expecting this, it can happen or not, and it can go through, right? Or you have a level, and then you're waiting for a specific things on the lower time frame happening, right? So basically, we have a higher time frame expectations, and we want to do a lower time frame reversal on a pullback, right? So and I will explain you also why is this very important, and it's nothing easier than just going to the trading view, going here to the community, and just look, for example, to this like look like this guy, right? Potential area to test. Prices came into the level, right? And he posted active. So basically he entered from here, from a level in here. And what has happened? See, it goes down. So what you have to do, you basically need to, the level on the level, you need to get a confirmation in there, right? Otherwise, you're just trading a level without any lower time frame framework, which is wrong, right? Now he's probably stopped out, or at least he is in some proper drawdown because he has entered somewhere here. Price is now here, right? And if he's looking for this, probably he had stop loss down here or where else. Here, that would not make sense to target this, right? So that's why you need to always do this thing, right? Because also, as I am expecting the reaction on this level, it doesn't have to happen. Right? So this is filter for me, right? I'm not gonna buy here. I'm gonna buy once this specific thing's gonna happen in here. Hello, David. What's haha? Watching from Nigeria. Yeah, haha. Okay, guys. Okay, so let's look to the Ethereum right now. Right, and in here is I'm watching the specifically actually the same thing, right? So what I'm expecting is that the price will basically because we are now on a level, right? Again, we bouncing in here, and what we probably gonna do is that we will retrace 50% of this swing, right? So we have the swing high, swing low. Now we're probably gonna do a 50%, and then we can go lower again, right? Which I think is going to happen because on Ethereum, I believe that it's gonna drop down below here, below these two lows, right? So let's look what we can do in here, and the price action is basically almost same. So we got this down candle manipulated on the key level, right? We closed. We have closed above it, right? And then price retraced down into a gap, right? Which is great. So what do? We got a range. Inside is order block. This we don't need right now, right? Bullish to the monthly gap, longs from gap in the order block, right? Here is my plan, which I have written on a Monday. When I have seen this happening, I was like, I cannot be 100% sure, but I was like thinking, okay, I would be interested in this gap because usually that happens. When the price breaks, then it goes to the gap. So now we are in this gap. So we're dropping down to 1 hour, right? And we have a consecutive, we also don't need exactly this here. I'll put it like this. So we have a clean chart. And I'll be watching for a close above here, right? And once it closes above here, I will be looking for a long. If it doesn't happen, then no problem, right? No trade. And again, what is nice in here, you see how the price dropped, consolidation. Now we have a manipulation, right? Then once we switch from a manipulation phase to the distribution, we could see expansion potential, right? Potential expansion. So today is a little bit more of like a swing setup, waiting, right? Obviously, what we can also see in here, we can scale it down, and here is also a 1 hour range, right? Look, you got a 1 hour range. So we could kind of trade it from a 1 hour range. If we drop to the 5 minutes, right, manipulated closing inside. Right, basically we could, but I don't like it, right? That's too risky game. So yeah, my friends. Is it acting as a support resistance right now? Which one you mean, my friend? Green line, watching from Canada. No, this one, no, it's not a support and resistance. This will be a confirmation for a order block, right? That means that if once we close above here, then I would be expecting it act as a support, right? So basically the order block, why is it order block? Because usually, so how the smart money are operating? They are basically hedging and selling to buy, right? So what they do, they're ranging the price. What's happening in the range, right? They're creating the interest on the high side. So look, on this week, definitely someone bought, right? Someone been buying, right? Why they did it? Because those who bought here, where they put stop losses here, right? So they've been doing it to create a liquidity below here, right? Now they dropping the price. Why? Because if we are right in this thesis, which we don't know yet, which we will know it once the price close above, right? Then they probably created the liquidity in here to what? To stop out these people, to force them sell in a loss, right? So for example, in here, the people bought, I don't know what is the exact price here. They bought here for a 2,200 and they will be selling in a loss in here, right? So they are forced to loss. So they basically force people to sell. It creates the liquidity. More people will sell here, they can buy, right? People selling the breakouts. So as they do the breakout, people selling so they can buy, right? And that's how they operate. So that's why the price action usually does these things, right? Accumulation, then they manipulate, right? And then they go higher. Now I'm saying manipulation, but I of course don't know it is manipulation, right? If it will obviously go down, then it wasn't a manipulation, but it was the real move, right? So don't take it like this way that everything is just a manipulation. And usually it is, right? The market is not here to make us all money. It's obviously there to transfer the money from our pockets to their pockets. And if I'm saying there, is the club of the people which none of us in there, right? So this is why it was created, and not only the crypto, that's everywhere. Stock, forex, everything is manipulated by the specific market makers and the groups operating in here, right? So let's not be naive that it's not made this way. Especially if we can speak about the altcoins, which are usually pump and dump scheme, right? Let's look to the liquidity if it will give us some kind of information in here, right? So right now I'm looking here on the legend coin glass, and it's usually showing us where the liquidity is. Actually, last week we had a good trade based on this. We closed something on a 50%, but the rest, unfortunately, was hit by the break even, right? So obviously, I'm not perfect. I don't win every trade. That's a normal, right? No stress. Yeah, you're welcome, guys. Right, so let's see. Seems like more liquidations are down here. But the question is if it is real or if it is a spoofing, right? If you know what is a spoofing, usually the large operators and also sometimes exchanges are doing it. So they basically putting the orders. So they actually manipulating informations in the DOM, in the order flow, right? And so it looks like here is a liquidation. So what they basically have here, they have basically here sell stops, orders, right? So right now, if you're looking at this, we actually don't know if it is true because this can be just a orders by the big exchanges, right? And what this information is telling us, it's telling us here is liquidity, right? So what you want to do then? Then you go to this tool and you're gonna play smart and you're gonna think, liquidity is down, let's sell, right? And then they can reverse it. right? So yes, this is definitely helpful, but for me always is the main thing is a price action, right? And one most important rule which I'm doing and teaching also my students is hit this, right? Don't buy high, don't sell low, right? And don't play at 50%, right? Why? Because look, if you're selling low, you usually will be selling into liquidity where the most people are doing it, right? If you buying highs, you will be buying the breakouts, right? Now, of course, there will be situations where the breakout, of course, is working, right? So you cannot take me by the words. But higher probability you have buying lows, selling highs, right? And never play around the 50%, because if the price action is around here, right, you always have a chance that it will go up or down, right? It's a 50-50. You do not want to play here. You want to be buying lows after the manipulations, after the false breakout and retest, or selling highs after this false move up, right? So that's what you want to do here. According to your hard time frame analysis, do you see if BTC will grab some liquidity around 58.62, or it will just retrace a little bit and continue going higher? Sir, your analysis is, I'm watching it from Bangladesh. Yes, my friend. Okay, according to my hard time frame analysis, let me show you what I actually think is going to happen. Right, trading is easy then buy low sell. Yeah, buy low sell high, it's easy. It's easy to say, but it's a little bit more difficult to do. My higher time frame analysis, let me show you some more my predictions actually. And it's but it is. I need to find some my BTC. Okay, let's go to BTC here. As nothing is developing here, let's look to the BTC, and I want to find you here, right? So this is my analysis from the November, where I've been predicting 67, right? So here we are right now, around the 67, 70, or to be exact, where we are, 69, right? So the price has dropped, consolidated, dropped again, now again consolidating, right? So what I think is going to happen right now, as we are now going from this consolidation, that we will go again higher, maybe retest some of these lows, and then we're gonna get again one more drop, right? And then from there, it's gonna happen something like that. But all of this, what I'm talking about right now in here, this can be next 6 months, right? Because this is a weekly chart. So again, we basically went lower, consolidated, lower, consolidating right now. We breaking through this consolidation, and I think one more dump is coming. That's a usual price action. Let me show you also something. And I'm not showing it just to say like, look, I have predicted this and that, but it's basically kind of a patterns that are happening, and it's here, right? I don't know if you know this ICT market maker. It's basically the model which is like basically kind of like accumulation expansion. Yeah, so this is what I've been predicting here in the November. Again, September, right? Then price made another high, dropped, consolidated, dropped. Now we are consolidating, and one more drop will come down, right? So let me show you where we are right now. So you see, I had it almost right. So it had created new high, dropped, consolidating, dropped, consolidating. One more drop will usually come, right? So we can look also, of course, to the higher time frame in here. I don't think that the drop is ready yet. What I believe right now, but of course I can be wrong. What I believe right now is that we will kind of retrace a bit higher in here to suck more people into the longs, right? More those Bitcoiners. I'm of course also Bitcoiner, but what I don't like on these maximalists, they are not traders, right? They will be still telling you Bitcoin, future money, future this. Yes, of course, but there is still operators who want you to lose. So what I think is that we can get some kind of maybe it can drop lower right now here. What is also quite often a trick is this. All right, so look, we are now on this trend line, right? Quite often happens this trend line is gonna get broken and then they go higher because a lot of people will sell here, which will create liquidity higher, right? So what I think before that higher time frame drop is going to happen is that we will reach maybe this 80 into this gap, and then we will get this down, right? Usually the May is bad month for the Bitcoin, right? So we still have a March, then we're gonna have an April. We have a March, April, right? May can be down, or maybe summer. I don't know. This is difficult to predict, but I believe we will look below 50K. I believe so. Below this level, at 48. I think we will go below here. Also, if you put a 6 months, here, 6 months, this down candle, this is, I think, is going to be bottom for the big buy. Okay. All right. What's good? Can we say that after a dump, we'll be going to form lows of the year since crypto has been dumping for my... What do you think about the Nasdaq? But why long so at the moment? Yeah, dump is yet to come. Yeah, the long at this moment, look, I mean, first of all, I'm not gonna long and hold for something big, right? This is not a like an investment buy and hold. This is like a short-term speculation, right? And again, if we will be continuing down today, I will not have a trade. For me, the trade will be only if we close here. And if we close here, I will be closing partial here at the 50%, right? And then I will hold it in here if that happens, right? As usually. If that's not gonna happen, then no trade, right? That's a filter of the level. And that's why the long right now. And can we say the dump will be going to form low? Look, because something is dumping for 5 months doesn't mean that it's going to be low. How long we are dumping? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, you are right, my friend. So we're dumping for 5 months. It doesn't mean that it's the end, right? Also, if you look here, you have relatively equal lows in here, right? Relatively equal lows. It's kind of like a double bottom, which many traders are understanding it as a strong support, right? Because price rejected once, price rejected second times, it will be strong. Well, because everybody thinking it, there will be a lot of stop losses once a setup happens in here. And maybe it's what's happening right now, because what's happening right now, breakout, right? So maybe there was a buyers Stop losses, right? Maybe we will go down. Maybe this long which I'm waiting for is invalid here, right? However, this is the setup. That's how it works. That's how we trade it, right? Okay, so I can show you, I can tell you a little bit more about this setup. I can show you on the some past analysis if you want to. This might can be useful, helpful. So we can look, for example, here, right? There was a similar thing. And again, so we have an expansion here, then price has been dropping, and this was daily candle, right? Big daily candle, same one like we have today. We've been dropping below it, right? And then once we close above those consecutive candles, which creates that order block, that's when I'm then later waiting for the trade, right? To trade it. So this is how it has played out. So you see, right? You close something in here, and then you're waiting, and you close the rest of on the top, right? Then the price went down, and I am basically out in here, right? And in here. Then there can be situation like a similar one which is happening right now today, and it's this one. Look, same thing, right? It's a different time, and again I had the range in here, and then I was waiting for the price drop lower, and then my prediction was buy after 1 hour order block created back in the range, right? So even though this was my setup, it doesn't mean that I'm going to buy on this level. I need to see that thing happens, enter here, and then target this, and then potentially that, right? So look what has happened in here. See how the price went down too much before it went back inside. So what I did at this moment, look, this is what has happened, right? So price didn't react it in here and didn't close inside. So it went down like this. So at this moment, I was like, okay, this is not a setup. I cannot enter. And if it went so much down, it's invalidated for me, because what has happened? It has created a new range, right? So for me, at this moment, it was this, right? I canceled order, setup invalidated, right? And that can be today. That can be what's happening today, right? If it's not gonna come back today, which looks like it will might not for this setup, right? And then today's candle, today's daily candle, which we can see in here, this one will not close back inside the range, then I don't have a setup, right, for here. And then need to wait and give it more time for a price action to give me some more setups like this. Is it clear? Bangladesh. How is it in Bangladesh, my friend? I have a friend who's living in the Dhaka. Now, what I see in here, this is also the range. Is it Dhaka? Yeah, I think. Am I saying it right? Yeah, Dhaka is in Bangladesh. So now, what is also happening in here? Now let me explain something a little bit more advanced. What we can do. So we have a daily range. Now we have this 4 hours range, right? We have the 4 hours range. Then we have an inside candle, which is actually consolidation. And now we're getting a manipulation. We can drop to the M15. And if we get on an M15 close, which is actually happening kind of in here, then we might could trade it already, right? But this doesn't give me much conviction at this moment. Right, lower time frame you go, lower probabilities. Right, here is actually the divergence happening. The Ethereum is diving. Ethereum will most likely drop here below these two lows. So let's wait. So tell me, guys, do you holding some altcoins like a long term? What you betting on? What you holding, guys? Yeah, James, Dhaka. I got a friend who's living in the Dhaka in the Bangladesh. XRP Tao. Oh, Tao. Actually, we had the guy who asked me for the Tao analysis. Let's analyze the Tao. Tao, Binance. I think I did analysis on the Binance. I did analysis on something today for him, but I don't know which. No. Tao. Oh, here I have drawings. Okay, so here is a Tao. To be honest, I have no idea what is this coin or whatever. I just see a price action in here. Right. So what's happening? We have a range in here. Here is I think it's a monthly. It's a 3 months. Yeah, it's a 3 months range. See this candle, right? This one to this low. So it has created range, manipulated, closed inside, manipulated, closed inside, open, down, and we are back inside. And in here we dipped below these lows 2 times. So it's good. Right? If we still closing inside this range, it means it's good for the Tau. What's next step? If this is happening on a 3 months, we need to drop to the weekly. And on a weekly, you should watch for a for a change in order flow, right? So what we would like to see is definitely move inside. Here we have a strong candle. This strong candle is good. Right? Also, what is good in here is these two equal highs, right? Like this double top. Most likely price will smash through it. And I believe we could see this, right? 400 in here. However, what came into my mind a little bit in here is this. Watch this. We had a two equal lows in here, right? Then two equal highs, and then price dipped into this equal highs, and then they drop it down into this equal lows, so second time. And now we have it same. Two equal lows, two equal highs. So if this what has been done in here repeats, then we can basically go through this and then into this two equal lows. Right? So it's very hard to say in here. I don't know what is actually the market cap of this coin, right? But it's very hard to predict such a price actions. But if this candle, so let's look at it this way. We have an expansion in here. This bullish candle has expanded, right? Now, we went above it, but we still have the equal highs in here, so we shouldn't be shorting. Now, here on this weekly, this week is going to close somehow, right? So it will give you basically a weekly range. Below this weekly range, you're gonna have gap. If the next week does something like this, does something like this, that it will trade lower and close back inside, then you have a chance that it will start to expand, right? Or what can also happen, the week will close somehow, then you're gonna have one boring week, and then you're gonna have this. This would be even better, because that means that there was a more accumulation in here, right? So I think that as we have these highs, equal highs in here, and we have this week in here, we have this strong push with the gap. This is also a support. This midpoint is support. There will be some chance for some nice setup in here, right? That's what I would say. Ethereum and Solana, yeah, definitely. I believe that the XRP, even though I don't like XRP, but it's just my personal opinion and nothing personal, and I don't have nothing against the XRP army or whatever. I just think it's maybe maybe it's just my opinion, and maybe XRP one day will be covering all these banks transactions, as they're saying, right? Sui and ADA, yes, Sui also, in my opinion, has a potential. Okay, so we have a Sui in here. And so let's check what's gonna happen here. What is happening here? Right, so look, here was again situation. As we are trading in this range, I was still expecting, as this range was tested in, manipulated in here, then retested in here, I was expecting that we will get these highs, right? So if I don't have a trade at the moment, I'm waiting for a setup, right? So what we had, one range, next candle close below, which is invalidating this range. So what I'm doing, then I'm drawing again a new range in here, right? Today, I want to see a setup, how the setup will look. Trading from some key level, which would be maybe this order block. Maybe we're gonna trade it down into this gap, right? I don't know, but what I wanna see is close back inside the range, and then I gotta set up. Until that happens, I don't have a setup, right? So basically, I'm looking for a long, but I wanna see a specific thing on the lows, right? I do not want to be waiting for this move, and then enter in here for this, right? That would be that bit stop loss in here, right? That would be a fucking gate trade. Sorry. And then look, here is the ADA, and again, the ADA looks actually quite good in here. Look, we went, even though I don't like this fucking creator, this guy with these Hoskins, but it's again just this low, these two equal lows. We trade below it. Here's a key level right now. Okay, so what we had in here is a range being created, and then we had this range, we manipulated, we closed inside, and now we consolidating, right? We dropped down below this range, and now here's in my opinion, again, creating a setup. And as we can see, here is a okay, I didn't update it for some time. Let's remove this for a moment, but I do think, again, we get the range here, right? As this is playing out on this big range, on this low of this range, it looks like a kind of consolidation. Here we manipulated the lows, right? So any lower time frame setup can give us a good entry. So again, we need to use the same filter, right? We have the range, we want to see close back inside on 1 hour, change in order flow, then we can go long, right? Then we can go long. What else we have? BMA to surpass in. You are cancelled, gate rate. Algo is not XLM. XLM, BNB, Blur, Atom. Okay, XLM, BNB, Blur. Yeah, BNB probably because it's behind the Binance, and CZ is obviously pumping it, right? There is some kind of correlation between the BNB and the Bitcoin. Like when the Bitcoin is going up, BNB is going lower, and then they changing, right? It seems like the CZ is switching the money between the Bitcoin and the BNB. So it seems like not set up. Seems like no setup right now. Right. ADA. Sui. Okay, that's some kind of okay. Exchange token here to stay. Oh well, Pugs Gold. Pugs Gold. What is it? Pugs Gold. It's a gold on a Bybit, or isn't it? Not, isn't it? Pugs Gold. Bybit Gold. Look at this. They have it. Okay, beautiful price section, right? What you can trade from this. So they have probably listed it some time ago. Exchange token, yes. And what about the Bitjet token? What do you think? And platform overall is higher. I'm gonna push it. What do you think? Pax USDT. Look, I am quite skeptical about the exchanges because I have wasted some money on the FTX, right? And okay. So now we have a gold price action on a Bybit here. Interesting. right? In my opinion, all of these things are basically pump and dump schemes, right? Now you can think he is too skeptical or this and that, and I can make money on this. Of course you can, but all of these things you have to you have to you have to time the entry and the exits, right? And you really need to decide if you are as in the position as a investor or a trader, which sometimes people cannot decide. So what I'm doing, I'm basically on a Bitcoin as a investments, and then trading mainly Bitcoin and the Ethereum because they're giving me most sense in their price action, and I am not going to hold some kind of coins which I think that will might never come back even into the all-time highs, right? So, hey, so let's look what's happening here. Look, Ether has also this 4 hours range. Right, maybe it will start to move back inside right now. Let's watch the Bitcoin. Let's watch the Bitcoin. Bitjet coin. Right, need time. Need time. It's probably not gonna be during now. Maybe it can happen on later today, maybe tomorrow. But what is important in here is a today's candle close, right? So let me bring the higher time frame candles again. And this range, which you basically can see in here, right, is this candle. To validate this level, which we're trading from, which we want to trade from, right, we want to see that today's daily candle, which is this one, will close back inside this range, above the yesterday's low, right? Now, be careful, because usually if you have the range and price action went quite low below the range, and today it will close inside, so let's say that today candle will be looking like this. Usually what happens this week, 50% of this week can be retested tomorrow again before we continue higher, right? So based on the experiences, what I know right now, I know that I do not have to sit by the computer anymore, right? I will simply wait how today will close, and then I will be looking for a setup, because probably if today will close inside the range here, will be created some level, some kind of order block, and then tomorrow I will want to see a reaction on that level and then trade, right? So yeah, that's for how I approach the swing trading. For the budget token last year, they burned some tokens, and there was a pump, perhaps higher next bar. Also possible, my friend. Definitely, I wish good luck everyone with the coins what you have. That would be great if you all get like 100x or something like that. Definitely. However, be careful, because there is a many coins which has never seen all-time highs again. I don't know how long you in a crypto, but if you put to the Google top 10 coins of the of 2017, you will see that historical snapshots here. Look, so accept and continue, right? So this is basically from the 2017 top 10 coins, right? What we still have here: Bitcoin, Ethereum. Bitcoin Cash is dead. It's some kind of in the nowhere. XRP is here. Litecoin also didn't see all-time high. Cardano kind of dead on the lows. Didn't went above 2021 highs. This is dead. This is dead. This is dead. Monero had a pump. There was this privacy coin pumping, right? This is that, right? So be careful, because most of the coins which we are having in the current top 10 will not be here, right? And how the price action usually looks like, it's usually some kind of pump, right? Then it dumps, then it can pump again, another cycle, and then this, right? You expecting, and then it never gonna happen again, and then you end up like this, right? What every time will makes a new all-time high? Bitcoin, probably Ethereum, probably XRP, and that's pretty much, now we have a Solana, now we have a Sui, but who knows, right? Solana or Sui, there can be some new Solana killer or something like that. Hard to say, right? Let's look CoinMarketCap. I just want to tell you my opinion. So what else we have here? Right, Tether, right, Solana, Dogecoin, right, Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid also have a very good tokenomics side. Cardano kind of in here, right? Look, for example, if we look to the price section of Ethereum, we actually don't need to go here. We can just look here on the price section of Ethereum. Look, I mean, even though it is a second biggest coin, here is 2021 highs. They just blip above it and then went down. If you compare this with the Bitcoin, that would mean that the Bitcoin would be just on a 69K or wherever it was, 69K, and then dump down, right? So all of those people who've been expecting something spectacular, right, and the altcoin season and these things, they are quite disappointed, because wherever they bought, right, let's say if you've been lucky and you bought down here, then you made like 160%. But who bought it? Who sell it in here? No one. No one sold here. Everyone was expecting some bump, right? They've been thinking finally alt season is here. Like every those fucking Twitter morons are still, alt season is here. Alt season is behind the doors, right? No alt season. There wasn't alt season, right? There is an individual pumps on the coins, which is very, very hard to predict. Why? Because back in the days, as we have seen in here, back in the days in here, there was maybe, I don't know how many, but there was, let's say, maybe 3,000 coins, something like that. Today, you have 50,000 coins, and you have another millions of the meme coins, and all these fucking how is these coins created on the Solana every 5 seconds pump and dump, right? So there is no money for that, because back in the days, smart money bought the Bitcoin, then they transferred to the Ethereum, then they transferred to the smaller caps. Right now, here is those big money. They buying Bitcoin ETFs, Ethereum ETFs. They are not gonna sell for some small coins. In my opinion, it's not gonna happen. And also, there is a lot of those coins who are fighting for all of those money, but those money are spread widely in between the many coins. In my opinion, there is not going to be a classic alt season as we knew it from the past, when you bought something and the next day it was 30% up, and you've been thinking like how smart you are, right? That's not going to happen. There will be many individual pumps, but you need to choose, you need to find which one it's going to be in those million coins, which is basically almost same. How many coins is there? Right? Look, 8,000. There is like 8,050 fucking 8,500 coins, right? So choose your portfolio. Which one is will be pumping? That's maybe you have a better chance to go to casino and play roulette. There is a just, and you play the numbers. You have just a 32 numbers plus 0. Right here you have 8,000 coins, which you will never know which one it will be. But it's not gonna be all of them at the same time like it was back in the days, right? Okay, guys. So finally, let's look again at the Bitcoin. What's going on in here? Setup didn't confirm. We will see if it will confirm later, right? I will be updating that in my Discord. I'm definitely watching that. So if you want to join, also, of course, don't forget Hyro. With the Trading Hunters code, you get a 15% discount on the challenges. Don't forget to buy, my friends. So anyway, let's summarize that. We're waiting here for the closing side, right? And probably the trade can come tomorrow. Right? So today it was a little bit more swing, a little bit more talking. I hope that at least it was somehow useful for you. I enjoyed the time. I like always your questions, and I hope to see you. There is only like 350k coins on Coinbase. Exchange has 8,000 coins. Yeah, you see. No exchange has, yeah, no exchange has 8,000 coins, but there is a multiple exchanges, my friend. Look, you have a multiple exchanges, multiple things. They are on the DEX. They are everywhere, right? People are not usually buying now these top 10s. They buying these small shit coins because they expecting these huge pump on these meme coins, right? On these DEX, whatever these sushi swaps and whatever on these things. Yeah. So anyway, if you believe that there will be altcoin season, of course, I wish you a good luck. I hope it will gonna happen for you, but I would not be betting on that. Anyway, my friends, take care. I'm gonna close it in here. Today, no trade. Even the day trading has a day in there. It doesn't mean that we're gonna have a trade every day, right? So let's watch it. Let's see you next week and take care. Bye bye.